Hey, it's Eddie Caulfield, the artistic director of the New Jewish Theater. First of all, I hope you're doing really well. Secondly, we had kind of this funny idea because we can't have people in the theater right now. We decided we were going to do our best to bring the New Jewish Theater experience to you. So we've come up with something called Eddie's Follies, part talk show, part variety show. I think you're going to have a great time because we all need to share a song, tell a joke, and have a laugh. We need a lot of laughter. Enjoy this episode of Eddie's Follies. I'm so pleased to introduce to you my dear friend and longtime cohort, Alan Knoll, in this clip from An Act of God.
I am many things to many people, but the true nature of my essence, unfathomable to humankind. But one thing I am is a brand. I am a well-respected, established brand. So, when I see some backup wide receiver from dipshit university on SportsCenter point to me when he makes a touchdown, it cheapens the brand. All right? Now this is an easy one. I am not with you when your team wins, and I am not against you when your team loses. I am not with or against you when you win or lose. I am not a Laker or a Red Wing or a Cowboy or, and please listen carefully to me on this one, I am not a Yankee. I do not guide a ball between the goalposts or into a net or out of a stadium or into your opponent's crotch. You won a game, congratulations. Yes, Super Bowl MVP, Mazel Tov. World Cup champ, Wunderbar. But leave me out of it. Yeah, I do not influence the outcome of a sporting event to affect the winner. Are we clear? Yeah. I do, on very rare occasions, influence the outcome of a sporting event to affect the spread. So.
Well, welcome, Alan Knoll. How are you?
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm well. It's great to see you.
It's great to see you too. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it's our pleasure. I don't know the last time we saw each other face to face.
I'm trying to think of it as well. It would probably have been at the end of Brighton Beach, I guess.
Yeah, maybe. That's
yeah,
because you were out of town doing a show in Alabama and
right. Because I went to Ozark Actors Theater to do Elf, and then I came back here, and then I did Flanagan's Wake at Westport, and then I went to Alabama, and then the world came to. Then everything stopped, right?
I know. So it is certainly easy to say. You and I have known each other at least 30 years. I think
at
it's
least
actually
30 years.
It's 30 years and change.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out the shows that we've done, and yeah, it's I guess 30 years at least, right? That would be 1990.
Well, I came in, which is the year I moved here.
Right. So shortly after that.
So I have lost track of how many shows we've done. It's a bunch. I think I've worked with you more than any other actor in St. Louis, actually.
Oh, I'm so lucky. I think, it's funny though, with the J at New Jewish, I think it's only 4 though. Isn't that funny?
It's only Laughter on the 23rd Floor.
Right.
Hello, Mother, Hello, Father, An Act of God, and what was the 4th one?
What's Wrong with This Picture?
Oh my gosh. Wow. I forgot about that one.
For a
variety of reasons.
Right, a young John Kinney burst onto the scene.
Oh yeah. Show. Oh, I should get John on the show. He could do some magic, and then I can show him embarrassing pictures of him as a teenager.
Right. Let's do this first, and then you can get John on the show.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's. I can barely get the.
It's over.
I can barely get the computer running, so it's going to be one step at a time.
Well, me too. So anyway.
So you were born and raised in St. Louis.
I was born and raised in St. Louis. I grew up in South St. Louis. I believe you went to St. Mary's, which is the home of the Fighting The Fighting Dragons.
Okay. Now, of course, St. Mary's, I know because I've lived here long enough, has a very storied history as a really great high school theater program.
It did, yeah. Well, I think it still does, but in my day, it had a fantastic reputation. We used to do Rich Contini, who's John Contini's older brother, who passed away sadly. We used to do 8 shows a year, or 7 or 8 shows. We would do show with no break. Usually at high school we'll do like a show in the fall, and then maybe one in the spring, and maybe a third one. But we did it was like a season.
Right.
And if you were involved with them all, you were doing it all the time. It was great for me. It was a great help to me. It really, it put me on a path that was very helpful at that time.
That you don't seem to be able to get off of that.
That I don't seem to be able to get off of, or know how to navigate. Actually, it's very strange path. But anyway.
And then you went to St. Louis University.
I did. I only go to schools with saints. No. Yes, I went to St. Louis University. And
home of the Fighting Billikens. Although, did they have Billikens then?
I don't know if they were the Billikens or not. I don't. But
somebody will write in and tell me.
Right. Somebody will write in. Maybe they'll call in. Is this a call-in show? First time caller, long time viewer.
If I could make the phone work, we could take calls.
Oh my God, it would be so great if you had a call-in show. Hello? Is it? No. But Amy Louie and I were in school together.
Okay.
And many other folks too, who who are still doing it, who are still
now. Let me ask you this question: is there a theater in town you've not worked for?
Yes, there is actually. Thank you so much for bringing that up. I have worked at some, but some might question how hard I've worked. No, let's see. I have yet to work at, Mustard Seed. I have not worked at Mustard Seed. Let's see. I know there's
it's a short list, though. No, I think it's a short list. You seem to be everywhere.
Well, thank you. But there is a couple more. I wish I would have prepared for that question, but I did. Let's see. I'll think of it before it's up. Maybe somebody will call in. One of my fan will call in.
Your one fan. Now we all know Alan is a fantastic actor, both a comedian and a dramatic actor, but he's also become quite a wonderful director. And you were gracious enough to direct Brighton Beach for us last season, a highlight in the history of the theater, frankly. So thank you.
Well, I got to tell you, and and I would tell you, and I would have stood up in front of a whole bunch of people and said this, it was the chance of a lifetime, and I really can't thank you enough for it. It was a labor of love. Neil Simon is very near and dear to me, and it was great to think of it as kind of an origin story, and kind of in an epic fashion. And you were very, and you allowed me to do some things with that I really took my time, and we'd had every single moment and made every single wrought every single ounce of pathos and comedy from it. And of course, you can't say enough about the cast. They were all great.
Amazing. Just amazing. Yeah.
They were great. Yeah. So anyway, thank you.
Fantastic. Now, let's see. I know that you don't have favorites, but if you had to pick a favorite role.
A favorite role?
That you've done, yeah.
God would certainly be a favorite role of mine. That was just really fun. And I'm not just saying this because I'm talking to you, but I would think that the role of Max Prince in Laughter on the 23rd Floor was really one of my favorites. And it's really sad because I've been thinking about it a lot since Carl Reiner just died.
Yes.
And when you asked me to do that part, I did not, I will confess, I knew, of course, it was based on Sid Caesar, but I was more excited about doing it based on Alan Brady from the Dick Van Dyke Show,
Of
who I
course.
knew Carl was doing him. Although I read recently that he actually said that he wasn't. He said he was doing Jackie Gleason and Milton Berle and some other guy, but actually he said Sid Caesar was a much sweeter guy than than Alan Brady.
Oh,
Those guys weren't. Oh, who's the third one? Ah, shoot. Maybe somebody will call in. I really think it should be a call in. You know, I mean, don't you ever? Is the caller there first? Anyway.
Hello, caller. Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, how are you biding your time as we wait to resume our artistic activities?
I'll bide my time. I am biding my time by doing a lot of reading. It is odd. I don't have a great, usually, and I say this with usually I have a thing to memorize. So,
Right.
But it's really great to read books. There are these things called books that you can sit and read, and in addition to just looking at things on Netflix, which is cool to do. We have
Are you, by the way, are you watching the new Perry Mason on HBO?
We haven't started it yet.
Okay.
But I think it does fill our diet of a psychopath, sociopath.
It's quite something.
Yeah.
It took me a while to get into it, but I know I love it. So.
Right.
Did you watch Unorthodox?
Yes. I thought it
Amazing.
was because you and my brother recommended it. And I thought it was wonderful. I thought it was fascinating.
Yeah, fascinating, and she's amazing. And
she's amazing, and it's really I thought it was great. I thought it was really, really great.
Hey, Alan, would you mind sharing, because it's my favorite, Colonel Billy story for our friends that are watching?
I will. Friends, and a lot of folks might not remember him, but they should. Colonel Billy Bevan, which was not his name. His name was David Lucas. He was a guy who gave me some of my first jobs in the very early 80s in the dinner theater, specifically the Good Times Dinner Theater, which was located in Fairview Heights, Illinois.
Right, and by 80s, you mean the early 1880s.
I do. That's exactly correct. I mean, the early 1880s. It was yes, it was. It was the early 80s. It was the Reagan era. It was anyway. And so Billy was a veteran of the dinner theater. I mean, he started out. He had worked with Harvey Fierstein and stuff, but he was quite a character. He was from Gulfport, Mississippi. He was actually the heir to the Merle Norman cosmetic line, but you would never know it by how he lived, because he lived in a Volkswagen bus. But anyway, every character he did, whether it was Dracula or the killer in Dial M for Murder or anything, he kind of did like this, like he was kind of like Foghorn Leghorn meets Jeff Sessions. Of course, that's a pretty close meeting. But anyway, and so the real quick story that I'll tell you is that in the course of Dracula that we did at the Good Times Dinner Theater, and our budget for these sets was like $1.75. And I was Renfield, one of the first times I played Renfield, which is such a great part. But Billy was Dracula, and his idea of playing Dracula was to be made up like a child on Halloween, like with black, like a white face, and his fangs would always fall out. And he had a brother who was an optometrist who, I got these here blue contact lenses, and he put them in and they hurt his eyes. But one night he was trying to, going to make his big entrance, which is, and his concept was, of course, stolen. This was the time when, I don't know if the kids remember, Frank Langella reinvented Dracula on Broadway. It was, and it was a production where all the costumes were in black and white, and there were just touches of red on the stage. Well, that's what Billy did on our little bitty stage in Fairview Heights with a steam table of fried chicken to the side. It was a dinner theater.
Sure, yeah.
But so anyway, he was trying to make his entrance, and it was where he would be covered all in black and then reveal his white underneath it. And this one night, it was opening night. The doors wouldn't stay shut, and he like fell onto the stage, and a seam's going on and all of this stuff. And then he was really embarrassed, really mad. And then the next night, this is the wrap up to the story. It's not that much of a payoff, but the next night, I came early and he was backstage at those doors. They were those French doors, and they had little, and he was back there with a little bitty, I didn't know what he was doing. He was like messing with the thing because he was so mad that the doors opened and revealed him. And I said, Billy, what are you doing? And he's over there and he looks up and he goes, Alan, this here rubber band, this is going to be the key to my whole performance. He was wrapping a rubber band around there to keep. And to his credit, it did keep the doors closed. So that is one of the Billy Bevins stories.
I love those stories, and I appreciate you sharing that.
Well, I thank you for asking about it. I wish somebody would call it and talk about it, but anyway. So,
do we have a caller?
Yeah, is the caller there?
I just before I let you go, I need to compliment you on your background, which looked very MSNBC.
Very Morning Joe, right?
It's very Morning Joe. I like that. Now that I'm interviewing people a lot, I just sort of I should be listening to their answers, and I'm sort of staring at like, well, what's behind them?
No. Now I'm impressed with your background. That's so good. I can't believe you made it all the way to the theater and set a ghost light up behind you.
Alan, I gotta say, it's fake, much like my personality. I mean, it's all CGI.
Could you pull it? Do you turn around and walk into it and you just crap through it? Well,
the other thing that's happening, I have these two cats and they're not afraid to walk into the middle of a Zoom interview.
I would love it.
Anyway, I appreciate your time and your talent, and we will have you back both on Eddie's Follies, I'm sure, and back at New Jewish at some point. And my love to your wife, one of the great actresses in St. Louis.
No, she's
she's great. And we will talk soon.
We will talk soon. And the next Eddie's Follies you do, I will be calling in, whether or not I get through or not, because I really think you should make it into a call-in show. You need to sit there with the headset and you're, anyway. So, okay.
Well,
thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. I'm so pleased that Eileen Engel has joined us for this episode of Eddie's Follies. Here she is doing a number from one of my favorite musicals, The Last 5 Years.
I could have a mansion on a hill. I could lease a villa in Seville, but it wouldn't be as nice as a summer in Ohio with a gay midget named Carl playing Tevye and Porgy. I could wander Paris after dark, take a carriage ride through Central Park, but it wouldn't be as nice as a summer in Ohio, where I'm sharing a room with the former stripper and her snake, Wayne. I could have a satchel full of dollar bills, cures for all the nation's ills, pills to make a lion purr. I could be in line to be the British Queen, look like I was 17. Still, I'm certain I'd prefer to be going slowly, batty, 40 miles east of Cincinnati. I could shove an ice pick in my eye. I could eat some fish from last July, but it wouldn't be as awful as a summer in Ohio without cable, hot water, Vietnamese food, or you. I saw your book at a the borders in Kentucky, under a sign that said new and recommended. I stole a look at your picture on the inside sleeve, and then I couldn't leave. Richard, who was with me, got uncharacteristically quiet. He said, all things considered, I guess you don't have to buy it. So I smiled like Mona Lisa and I laid my visa down. He wants me, but he ain't gonna get me. I found my guiding light. I tell the stars each night, look at me, look at him. Son of a bitch, I guess I'm doing something right. I finally got something right. No, it's not Nirvana, but it's on the way. I played Anita at the matinee, and now get on my knees and pray in my state in my next bio. I'm never gonna go back to Ohio. I could chew on tinfoil for a spell. I could get a root canal in hell, but it wouldn't be as swell as the summer is gonna be. 'Cause the torture is just exquisite while I'm waiting for you to visit. So hurry up, schmuck, get unstuck and get on the scene. Love the midget, the stripper, Wayne the snake, and Mrs. Jamie Wellerstein. That's me.
Well, welcome, Eileen Engel.
Hello.
How are you? It's lovely to see you.
Lovely to see you as well.
I should let our viewers know that you have appeared on stages all over St. Louis. Most importantly, of course, for the New Jewish Theater in Time Stand Still last season. And I'm sure you will be back on our stage as soon as we can be back on a stage. I feel certain about that. But you've worked for Stray Dog and Variety and Westport Playhouse, and it seems like everybody. It's amazing. And the other thing is you are a multiple Circle Award nominee, which is fantastic. And you are one of my sheroes and heroes who made masks.
Yay.
And I have several of Eileen's masks, and they're great. And then I sent some to my family. So thank you for doing that. That was very nice.
You're welcome.
So you are, as you will have just premiered, actually, as we start this episode, Lobby Hero. What was that like? This is a virtual production, right?
Yes. So we followed all the guidelines. We wore masks 6 feet apart. We did rehearsals outside in a parking lot, sometimes on the lawn. Everything was disinfected. Temperatures were taken. We followed the whole 9 yards of it. And
That's
then
awesome.
Meanwhile, they were in the theater and they built these pods. And each actor had their own pod. And one by one, once they were finished, we get to walk up into our pod and assume position before the next person can walk in, and they disinfect everything. And yeah, they have like a straight
That's amazing.
system. Yeah.
And you look like a complete badass in the cop uniform.
Oh, thank you. I got the pleasure of getting to design those fun costumes we're not wearing the full regalia and everything in the actual live stream, but we got to have fun in the photo shoot.
You know, back in my time at the Repertory Theater, we did Lobby Hero. It's been a long time ago. But I remember, because police uniforms are very tricky if you want them to look exactly right. And we had some issue with the shoes, and it turns out the major manufacturer of police shoes is here in St. Louis. And I ended up going to their warehouse, which is like, it's near the stadium downtown, and it's a little sketchy, and it's 6 stories full of police shoes.
What? That's crazy.
It's crazy. So you managed to do the balance between being a musical theater star and a legit theater star, as we say. Do you have a preference, or it doesn't matter?
It doesn't matter to me. I enjoy both a lot. It just depends on the show, the role. I just have a blast either way.
And you just finished doing a new original musical that I think you did in Hannibal, and then it was done here. Is it called Madam?
It is.
Oh,
Yes.
thank God. But I hope I remember the name of that.
That's correct.
What was that like to work on a new original piece?
It was amazing. I've done a few original pieces. I did Hot Dog the musical in high school, and then I did Stephen Pyrick wrote Monsters, and we produced that at Stray Dog. And then I got to be in the original cast of Madam, and that was so cool because it was my first. Well, I also did Spellbound at Stray Dog Theater with Ray Bell wrote that with Robert White. So I've done a lot of new works, and I really enjoy them a lot. Madam was terrifically written, and it was so fun to really develop my own character. It's historical character.
Isn't that great? Like you have a lot more freedom, I think, when you're sort of originating a role, because there's no sort of history about the role yet, which is great. What did you grow up in St. Louis?
I did. Yes, South City.
Which high school? Sorry, I have to ask.
Bishop DeBerg.
Oh, really? You know, the home of Norbert and Jim Butts.
Yep.
High school there. Mm-hmm. Was Sister Barbara around?
Oh yeah.
So years ago, I stage managed a production of Nonsense with real nuns, and Sister Barb was in it, and it was amazing.
Oh, I love that.
And like 2 weeks in, because I've got kind of a bad mouth, a potty mouth, and then like 2 weeks in, I said the word in front of all the nuns, and I was mortified. And they took it really well, and they said, "Well, Edward, in fact, we've heard that word before, and sometimes we use it." And I was like, "Oh." And then you went to Southeast Missouri to the conservatory there. Mm-hmm. And then, but I love that you're making your career and your life here, because you are such a great part of our community.
Oh, thank you.
Now, do you want to talk about what you have upcoming, whenever that is?
Well, we'll see. I have some upcoming things that might take place. I have a show in Colorado that hopefully follows through. And then Forgatonia with Fly North Theatrics, which is another new work. It's been produced once before at ECC. But we'll see after that. I've got a little night music and possibly Assassin's thrown in there. It all depends on when.
So you have a busy schedule if we get to do theater.
If any of this happens, hopefully things happen. I don't know.
I know exactly how you feel. I have to ask you one thing about your past, and I apologize. You worked at the infamous Stage Door Manor.
I did.
What was that like? The Stage Door Manor is I think probably the biggest theater camp in the country. It was maybe the best. And it's lots of kids that then became big stars went there, and you worked there. What was it like?
Mm-hmm. It was awesome. So it is an actual camp. I didn't know what to expect going there. Camp the movie, if anybody's familiar with that.
Is it kind of like that in real life?
Ish. But they do sessions, and then they do multiple shows running at all the different theaters on camp at all times. And as a designer, costume designer, I designed 2 shows per session. So within that period of time, I designed 6 shows, and some big, like Mary Poppins, and I'm just a one-man show getting all of that done.
Good Lord.
Yeah, so it was a lot.
I love that. I did not know that about you until I looked at your resume. I was like, oh, I have to ask her about this. Is great.
Yeah, it was 2 years ago. Yeah, 2018.
Anyway, thank you for joining us for Eddie's Follies. It's wonderful to have you as my guest.
Thank you for having me. It's just
we will see you soon, I'm certain, and we'll see you on stage as soon as we can. I'm certain of that too. Take care of yourself.
Good to see you.
You know, I thought one of the best things I could do as part of this project, Eddie's Follies, is to introduce you to the up-and-coming talent in the St. Louis theater scene. And I'm pleased to present my friend Michael Tran and his friend Tony Merritt in a duet from Hamilton.
Dear Theodosia, what to say to you? You have my eyes, you have your mother's name. When you came into the world, you cried and broke my heart. I'm dedicating every day to you. Domestic life was never quite my style. When you smile, you knock me out, I fall apart, and I thought I was so smart. You will come of age with our young nation. We'll bleed and fight for you. We'll make it right for you. If we lay a strong enough foundation, we'll pass it on to you. We'll give the world to you and you'll blow us all away. Someday, someday, yeah, you'll blow us all away. Someday, someday.
Philip, when you smile, I am undone. My son, look at my son. Pride is not the word I'm looking for. There is so much more inside me now. Ooh, Philip, you outshine the morning sun. My son, when you smile, I fall apart. And I thought I was so smart. My father wasn't around.
My father wasn't around. I swear that I'll be around for you.
I'll do whatever it takes.
I'll make a million mistakes. I'll make the world safe and sound for you. We will come of age with our young nation. We'll bleed and fight for you. We'll make it right for you. If we lay a strong enough foundation, we'll pass it on to you. We'll give the world to you and you'll blow us all away. Someday, someday, yeah, you'll blow us all away. Someday, someday.
Well, good morning, Michael Tran. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Eddie? Thanks for having me.
I am good. It's great to see you. I don't know the last time I laid eyes on you. I think it's been a while because of the pandemic.
It's been a hot minute. It's been a hot
Yeah.
second.
In the interest of full disclosure, you all should know that Michael is one of my former students. He is will be a junior at the Conservatory of Theater Arts at Webster. He's also my dear friend, and in the interest of real disclosure, he is the official cat sitter for Barnaby and Cornelius. So,
Thank you. Oh, that's an honor to have that title.
and you are speaking to us from New Jersey.
From New Jersey, yes, Cape May, New Jersey.
Cape May is nice.
It is gorgeous, and
Yeah.
the weather here is beautiful, and so I'm very excited.
Good. So Michael, who I've known for a while, is a very, very talented young artist and theater practicer. And you were born and raised here in St. Louis.
Born and raised in St. Louis, Missouri. Yeah, I've lived here my entire life. Yep.
And which part of town are you in?
I live in Afton, but sort of like the border of like Afton and Webster Groves. So it's a nice little drive to go home. It's only like a 10-minute drive, and so it's very convenient whenever I want a home-cooked meal, but also easy. So.
And Michael does everything. He's a singer and a dancer and actor, and we just love him. And he has appeared on the Repertory Theater stage. He has appeared with Opera Theater. He's of course appeared with the Conservatory of Theater Arts, and he also appeared, I believe, in the Muni's production of Aida. Do I have all of that? Have I done my homework?
Yep.
So Michael, how did you get the acting bug?
Oh gosh, well, I started acting when I was around like in third grade, I want to say, and then I sort of took a huge break, and then I met Ben Nordstrom, a dear friend of.
See now the truth is out.
The Ryan Seacrest of St. Louis, was it? Yeah.
He is the Ryan Seacrest of St. Louis. That's true.
But no, I met him back in junior year, and that's sort of when I decided, like, okay, this is sort of something I really want to do. But I don't know. I think I've started. My mom, like, I mean, this is the most common answer. My mom would say I've been acting my entire life. I've been, a drama queen my entire life.
No comment.
But yeah, I think I got back into theater around high school, and so that's sort of when the acting bug officially hit me. And so yeah, I would say around high school, it was just something that I really enjoyed to do, just like the connection with the audience, something that we're all very lacking right now, just like the connection between the ages and audience, and I think that's something very beautiful that we get to experience as human beings. I didn't mean to get philosophical, but you know what I mean.
No, that's good. So you are halfway through your training time at Webster, and have you started thinking about where you might head after you graduate?
I really like Chicago, but I also really like New York.
Sure.
And so yeah, it's interesting because I want to do everything. I want to do Shakespeare, I want to do film, I want to do TV, but I also want to do musical theater, and so it's just finding a facet for all of that. But I think I vibe with Chicago a lot more. I usually go to Chicago in my summers, spend like a week there. So it's a place that's like a second home to me. So
I love Chicago. I like it better than New York. Shh, don't tell anyone. I think it's a great city. It's a great theater town.
Exactly, and it's not as always in your face as New York, which I really appreciate.
Right. I do too. Well, so you're off traveling around the country, helping your friend move, which is very nice. And hopefully, school is starting very soon, in about a month, and we'll see how that is to be back. Let's see. I wonder. Oh, I know what I wanted to ask you about. Oh, I'm glad I remember this. You have been very active with within the students of the conservatory about organizing actors of color. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Sure, yeah. The Artists of Color Collective was something that my dear friend Allegra, Allegra, Allegra and I co-founded together.
Allegra's, I think, on the next episode. I think she's coming up.
Amazingly talented. She's amazingly talented. But it was a organization, a group, a collective of that we founded to just help support artists of color within Webster Conservatory, because there's very few of us in the industry, and so we all need to stick together. And so the collective offers a safe space where we can talk about stuff that might be going on in the real world, but also stuff that might be happening in the conservatory and how to deal with that, while also making sure that we showcase the talent of the artists of color within the conservatory, whether that may be through cabarets or stage readings, and allowing us to do work made by BIPOC playwrights. And so that's just something really valuable that we don't always get in Webster Conservatory. So.
And would you explain to our friends what BIPOC means?
Yes, Black, Indigenous, and POC. Those, yes.
Right, thank you. Because that term is relatively new.
Yeah.
And it popped up this year, so.
I appreciate that with everything that's happening, it's getting more specific, I should say. And so I really appreciate that. Yeah.
Well, I am very proud of you for being so proactive and organizing yourselves. You are such a great guy. I loved having you on the show. Perhaps you'll come back for the Hanukkah special I'm planning. Out of control. It's out of control, Michael.
Wonderful.
Excellent.
Thank you for having me, Eddie.
You bet. Continue to have safe travels, and I will see you at some point soon, I hope.
I hope so. If you need cat sit, just let me know, Eddie.
Oh, the cats miss you very much.
Oh. Well, Eddie,
Take care.
You so much. Thank you.
You bet.
Bye-bye.
Oh my goodness, that was so much fun. I really hope you enjoyed that episode of Eddie's Follies. Because we can't be together now, this is an easy way for us to be together virtually, which I think is great fun. And, we miss having you and we miss seeing you, and we're going to see you soon. And I hope in the meantime, you will consider supporting the New Jewish Theater at this time. But most importantly, let me know what you think of the show, and I look forward to seeing you at the next episode of Eddie's Follies.